Ed.
Thank you, Olivia. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am very excited to be part from this community, and I appreciate your time and being in such a successful event. And you need to know you are ahead of the curve, and this is something is very big. It is sorry. This is the first time for me to do a speak for all the nurses. Nurses in the past was part from the group, but this is the first time, which is I feel more excited for today. So let's get started. My name is Anas, and I came from the Middle East, and I live in different country. Currently, I am in Canada, Ontario, Niagara Falls. So basically, like everyone like you, I am started my career as a registered nurse. Started about, if I'm not mistaken, in 28 as an ICU nurse. Those years were both challenging and rewarding for me. Like everyone like you, I face long hours, high stress, high situation, fast-paced environment. So that helped me to be adaptable and adapt with my skills. This experience make my foundation for my future in health technology. So as a frontline, I learned a lot of lessons and hear a lot of patient stories, stand out of experience of all other within my health tech follow. So that taught me the empathy, effective communication as a crucial in healthcare sectors. Simply, what I have learned in the nursing, however, it was 3 years only. It's not too much, but it was enough for me to build my career. So I will give you a snapshot of my who I am, where I worked, and this is a sneak peek. And still, I didn't cover everything because I believe there is silly information you don't need to know all about them. But this is to see you as a nurse, you can play different role in different areas. So I will start with the projects. I've been in the healthcare sectors, and I work in different healthcare setup, but almost I have worked more than 75 projects. Some of those projects spent on them years. Some of those projects consider a national project, cover all the countries. So I had in the past to work for two projects, one across all Jordan and one across all Saudi. So when you hear projects, that not necessarily 1 week, 2 weeks project. So you can imagine the immense you can get it through that stakeholder engagement and the knowledge you can take it from different role. So basically, what role I have played, and still I keep changing those lists and add more and more. So I start as an ICU nurse, also work as a consultant, as an advisor. I led a team and also become a manager. When I become a manager, I was responsible for 6 people under my management. Also, I've been in the project management. I manage a project as a project manager. Last role I had it in the health tech was a product manager, and I think this is something is not common in the nursing industry. And I encourage everyone to think about the product management, where is the innovation and the future here. Also, starting with my experience to help me to be a board director and recently become as a career coach and mentor. The setup where I work in hospital, two-time work in the startup, and this is where I gain a lot of the information. I heard Olivia in the first day where she emphasizes on the startup, and in startup you will play a different role and you will play and you will wear a different hat. That give you the knowledge and the experience where you want. It's hectic, but it's worthy and rewarding. Also work under the private equity corporate, where this more intense into financial driven, a lot of restructuring, merger and acquisition, work with the NGO and NPO, non-government organization, non-profit organization. And all of those help me to work in different domains. So this is here where I need your attention to see. I'm not trying to tell you how much I am good. I've tried to tell you one nurse how many industry or how many domain he or she can play. So I work in the electronic health record like Cerner, Epics, enterprise risk management with the Datix, mortality and morbidity solution, hospital proactive reporting, incident reporting. That mean data management and BI tool. Developed a new mobile app for the hospital. Workforce management like Kronos, if you are familiar with Kronos Allocate. Antimicrobial resistance AMS. Policy management, also patient engagement and experience, claim management, e-trigger, e-trigger that to to build a proactive system to predict the incident before it's happened based on certain criteria. And this is for sure need a clinical background. Benchmarking how to compare hospital to another hospital or facility to another facility, safety huddle solution, infection control, staff health, and clinical decision support system, and more still that my experience, but I believe there's a lot of more experience like telemedicine, and now AI is growing up, medical equipment, sales rep. There's a lot of things I didn't have the chance to work with that, but this is my experience. The application or the vendors or the company I have worked with them here, maybe because I came from Middle East, I don't know if all of them they are familiar for you, but some of those companies they are from Europe. So I'm for sure Oracle Health, Cerner, Kronos, Bibid, Synensis, MCN, I believe Baxter, all those company is well known here. RL, it is a Canadian company here. It's responsible for incident and reporting management. And from my role, I had the opportunity not to live in those countries. As you can see, I have worked in three continents, but I work on those continents remotely or virtually. So most of the time I were sitting in one country, but that gave me the opportunity to work across all the Middle East and North Africa, Europe, APEC, which is in New Zealand and Australia and some of the North Asia, and also with the US and Canada. So I have the experience to work with all those market from where I live. Currently, as I mentioned, I am in Canada. So one of the most important things during my career, I realized there's a still gap in technology, and there's ignorance in technology between the nurses and healthcare. For example, nurses spend up to 30% of their time on documentation rather than patient care outdated system. And I believe all of you are agree with me, and that will lead more empathy for the patient and more error and insufficiency for the patient management. I realized that right technology could dramatically improve both patient care and nurses satisfaction. That's why I step up and start to think how I can take my skill set in nursing and go for health tech companies and start working to provide a new solution. That decision transition from nursing to tech wasn't easy. But it was necessarily at least for my patient and for my principle and my belief. So I started to again a lot of a problem, a lot of the skills like problem solving, empathy, attention to details, and try to find the common terminology and common language between who I am and who I communicate with. Because in the health tech company, you will be the minority on that company. The most of the company and your follow and your colleague, they will be from technical background, from IT background. So that helped me to see during over 15 years how it is fragmented and outdated IT system across all the country, across all the hospital. So I'm not referring for one country or one market. It is in the healthcare, and this is normal because the healthcare intend to be not taking and adapt the technology very fast and quick to make sure it is safe for their patient and for their staff, and they can adapt that. And one of the side effects from that, 50% of the medication error reach for the patient because we have fragmented silos, software or technology, and also the team who are working in developing and creating those software most probably they are not from clinical background. However, I mentioned there is a good there is reasonable representation, but this is considered still very limited if you compare the percentage between clinical team who working with the health tech and non-clinical team. So this is where I like here to see the innovation model. So just right now, I started to mention the healthcare intended to be slow in adapting the technology and make the change. So that there is a fundamental improvement for care and clinical workflow need to consider. So if you see or if you here, sorry for the typo. Now I realize innovation. There is a space. So if you realize when you hear innovation, every time you think you will bring something new, or you need to build something like from scratch or to on your patent, but this is not right. innovation that you can find a untraditional solution for existing tools. One of those examples, that telemedicine. Telemedicine, it is telecommunication and the medicine already there. So what they do, they try to utilize and to implement the technology and make them accessible for the patient and for the healthcare system. And that time they came with the concept that telemedicine. But this is something, it's not new. When they come with that concept, they bring different concept together, they package it and they present it. And this is what we are doing most probably on the time. Sometimes we bring something new, and when we have something new, that we need more time to spend into the market to make the market is qualified for this. But one of the most important things I like from this chart, not to think about the hospital and where you are working. Think about yourself. This is the model where you see the innovator, they are minority who take the risk and step up and start to work. They are 2.5% from all population everywhere. So those where they believe they have resource, they have the skills, they can take that risk and make the change. Then after that, they early adopter where they will came more than innovator, but it still is not the majority. The majority start to come between early majority and late majority. That way, when they started to see a bunch of people, they started to adopt something, they start to do this thing. So I believe you here in the conference consider between early majority to late majority. I'm not expert about the market and where you are living and what your future and what you are looking for, but being thinking about the future and how to improve your skills and how to be ahead of the curve, that give you with this majority. And now we are in the AI era. This is where every time, every day, we learn something new, and you need to be adaptable and and ready to make that change. Because if you can see the line in the yellow, that the market where it's a growth. So if you looking for a new opportunity for non-traditional work as a remote nurse or virtual nurse or whatever the role you are looking for, so you see the opportunity start to become increase more and more based on where you are in that stage in your development, in your enhancement, in your whatever you are calling for. But you don't want to be on the last layer that they being taking this change by force. So you will see the gap, it's high between the market demand and your skills and equality. When you start to get into the market, you are too far from what the market needs. So here you need to think who I am, what I need, what the skill set I have, what the market they need, and how can I improve it. That gave me the opportunity after working with different stakeholders and see the minority of the nursing presenting in the healthcare sectors, and still a lot of the nursing, they don't know the skill set they have, they can implement it in different setup. And that gave me the idea to come with my business idea, my startup Kiyan. Here where I came with the concept, especially after I started my coaching practice and see a lot of my clients, they are not aware how they can do the move, where they can move. And they thought and they believe what happened with other, what happened with me, what they will happen in the future, it's built on the chance and it's very hard to get into the market. So that gave me the idea to build my Kiyan along with my coaching practice. So Kiyan basically, it is an innovation AI-powered mentorship platform dedicated to transform nursing, education, and professional development. And this is where we started from the school, from the university, where I now working with the university to make sure they are market ready before they got graduated. Because now the nurses they graduated, the skill set they have is not match with the hospital what they need, and they have a lot of the challenge. And after 1 year, they burn out and they leave the industry. And this is the number where it's 54. Percent of the nurses consider leaving the profession. I don't know if you are one of those. 30% of new graduating leaving their first job within the year. Only 30% of new graduated feel fully prepared for a practice. Globally, nursing shortage predicted to reach 18 plus million professional by 2023. So that, sorry, 2030. So that means we have un how I say it, we have bad supply compared of the demand. We have a good supply for nurses, but the nurses they are leaving. So we need to think how to make nurses they are satisfied of what they are doing, and when they are leaving, how still they are utilize their skill set. So we have that through the we do that through the coaching from expert nursing mentors, and also we powered our solution with the AI development tools. So we will help you to use those technology and make sure down the road there is a milestone will help you to go through your progress, and you can measure your improvement and how much how far you are from your goal. And this is a continuous professional development, and there is a lot of stress management tool there. So the most successful health tech solution, if you think about that, came from the true collaboration between clinical and technology. And here where I came and my company, where I believe we need to adapt nursing, because this is from where I start. But I believe you have discussed this a lot during today and yesterday, and for sure, Olivia, I came from time to time. I see where she emphasizes on the skill set. You need to think about it if you are looking for improvement. So if you're looking to be a leader in the health tech industry, you need to think about how to be technological proficiency, how to build your literacy in technology, how to be more educated in that. That also with the data, how to read the number, how to figure those number. You don't need every time when I mention any of those skills to come back for the school or take micro certificate. Sometimes it's good, it depends on your goal. But sometimes no, you need just the basic information to be aware about the concept itself. Start to think strategically from your practice, how to connect the two together. What is if after 1 year, 5 years? This is the mindset which you need to think about it. And change management, it's a huge change management. There's in every hospital where the team, they need to help the hospital and the team within the hospital to make that change. I share with you the innovation model, and they will follow different stakeholder or different model or methodology. But this is the key there to help and prepare the crowd to move around the road. Digital leadership. So if you have the leadership, you need to make sure those leadership equipped with the digital technology and information, and to be ahead of the technology and bring the best things for you and your customer and your employer. Continuous learning as nursing, as medicine. We keep learn and we keep educate ourselves, and that's what you are doing right now. So I hope I will added value for you. And one of the most important things here, the nursing, they have something the other they don't have, and here we need every time to focus, make the patient-centered care focus, patient-centered. This where all solution where they bring it from non-medical background, they think about revenue, development, future expansion, market. All those good. We are working for profit. But if this is not added value for the customer, it's useless. And a lot of the company I have worked with them, they did a lot of a great job, but doesn't work because it's not added value or not targeting the patient. So here you have something the other they don't have, because they are not aware and they don't know what exactly or what actually the nursing they need. Communication skills. We intend that we know how to communicate, but I believe we need to think more about that, because when I start in the business, the communication in the business is totally different from how we communicate in the hospital. Still, you need that, because if you present your employer, and if you're working in the health tech company as example, or non-traditional work as a nurse, still you need to know how to speak as a corporate and how to speak with your client, and your client will be the healthcare provider. So your communication skills, how you communicate on day to day, it's a must, and this is add value for you and for your skill set. Everyone, when we think about remote work, they think they can work from every time, from everywhere. And that's right. That's right. You can work from everywhere. It depends on the company policy. But right now, there is a huge shift trying to make the stuff to come back for the offices as a hybrid. But still, there's a lot of the company where they prefer the remote area. The remote area have pros and cons for that. But overall, for me, I believe since 2018, I work remotely and rarely go for my office and my company. So why this happen and why the opportunity everywhere? This is the snapshot from the market. And again, those number as a prediction, maybe not 100% correct, but this give you an indication. It is a huge market there. It is plenty of opportunity in the future. Right now, the global health IT market size within 2025, it's almost 800 billion. And in the future, with the 2030, we expecting about 100 billion almost. So that's a huge amount. And I'm talking here only about the IT, nothing. I'm not talking about any other business like pharma, like medical equipment. I'm not talking about health navigation industry. I'm not talking about nursing travel, only IT. And the other in 2034, this number I cannot read it, to be honest. We don't learn it in the school, but it's too much. It's too much, and this is a good opportunity. However, the market is there, but it's very competitive. You need to be ready for that. So one of the things you can do, and not limited for those, I share with you from my experience, but you can be as a clinical informatics specialist, or you can work in the health project as a project manager and the project management. You can be part from implementation team. You can work as a telehealth coordinator and health data analyst, and the list goes on and on. So this is not limited to, but this is most popular role you have it. Personally, I emphasize to think about the product management where you bring a new solution, and this is something you will learn a lot. I prefer it. I like it. I enjoy working in the product management. Here, another review where those company they are investing now and in the future, and you can see most probably they are between EHR, electronic health solution, telemedicine, and CRM, and health analytic, information solution, technology. So those the category for those company where they are rapidly evolving world of health technology, and continuous learning is just not beneficial for you. It is essentially to make that habit and stay informed about the industry and trend, and also like what you do right now, attending conference and engaging with health tech community will give you more visibility about what's going on in the market right now and what's going on in the future, and be uh, curious and willing to learn. This is will help you to improve your role, and not necessarily that what I'm encouraging you to leave the nursing. You can still work remotely or virtually, and you can be with your role as a nurse with your employer. Maybe you can move to different role, work with the manager level or with the IT team with your hospital. So all of those options is available, but you need to think in different way. And here, sometimes I recommend, if you don't know how, consult, connect, or hire someone to work with you as a mentor. They will help you. So one of the things you need to think about it as a unique perspective nursing technology, or to be innovator. The skill set that you have it the other they don't have, like a clinical workflow experts. So you can work with the health tech company to be advisor for them only for a clinical workflow. This is a huge. A lot of the implementation we came across the challenge because there's no proper representation from the vendor or from the customer side, the hospital who hire us, but the team who is working with us, they are not aware about the clinical workflow. So based on our understanding, we try to overcome this. This is one of the things. It's a huge, and any success of any project depends how much we are uh, uh, knowledgeable about the internal clinical workflow. Patient centered problem. So we need to make sure. I just raised it in a couple of slides here. You need to make sure any problem you bring it on the table that will help the patient, and it is directly improve the patient care and patient outcome. Otherwise, is not there. You also, as a nurse, we have, and we keep doing job in very fast environment and intense environment that give us that skill set, which will be a very easy to be adaptable and a quick learner. This is where you need to think, okay, today I learned something, but that doesn't necessarily will stay the same knowledge which I have it right now after 1 month, for example. And the best example for this AI. Every day we have evolving in the AI tools and technology, and there is an update. So being in this industry, you need to be on the curve all the time to make sure you understand that. And here to see holistic system understanding. That means you need to work with different stakeholders. So, for example, you are working for, let's say, for the pharmacy modules or surgical modules, operation modules, but you need to see the other modules, how they are connected together, and there is a synergy together to work together or not. This is your role. This is your role to make that things to happen. And being from the medical background and working in the hospital, that will give you that value to see the full picture and the holistic view. Data interpretation, so knowing the number, what that mean from a clinical perspective will help you to bring the new solution or to innovative solution. And this is where you need empathy-driven innovation, that to make sure when you are empathetic with your patient, the same thing you need to make sure the solution one and the role what you bring it for the your employer or your client, also they based on the empathy, because most of the company, and with good saying here, they are financial driven. The big corporate, they are financial driven. Here you need to utilize your skill set, the empathy of the patient, and make sure that what we know, and take those data which I just mentioned and give use evidence base why we need to do that, not this, and put this on the future enhancement. So there is no one way to make shift or for non-traditional work. I'm not here saying to go for health tech. Health tech one of those options, but there is no straightforward way to make the shift career. And I believe my colleague and the speakers and all of the speakers today and yesterday, they have touched that in somehow. And also not necessarily sometime to back to school or have a certificate. Sometimes is required, sometimes is not. Sometimes you can take them on board or during your work. But one of the most rewarding thing as a nurse, I believe, you can play in different roles. You are not only working in a hospital, you can work everywhere. This is uh, one angle, let's say one lens of where you can work. And again, there is more and more and more. This is what I tried to find something comprehensive. Unfortunately, I didn't find it. But you can work with the research and trials. You can be part from education industry. You can part from your management within the hospital. You can be in the clinical setup with your hospital and think how you can not only count years, how you can make those jump in the leadership within the clinical setup, how to be on informatics, how to be in the health tech industry, how to go for and bring something innovative. And those all together, after that, also you can consider something like consulting, something about coaching is not here, and mentoring. Also, you can think about AI consultant and make sure one of the most important things here, the legal aspect is not covered here. How to help the new comer for or a new graduate to be part from the system, so onboarding process, so a lot of business idea you can bring. And this is not motivative speech. Here I share with you those six company, the founder of those company, they are nurses. Three of them, I know them personally. Three of them, I interview them in my podcast, and I encourage you to follow me and see the podcast. Three of them, they bring with some very complex solution and something very simple solution, and they are now on their own company and they are working. So now this is to see you can start small and you can be big and big as much as you can. For Novus Health, that founder, he is my friend, and he is a Canadian. He have built a three company. This is the third company he have created, and he take company where it's considered is not good performance, take them, build them, and make the changes when they're number, then sell it and go for another company with the profit. So here also, if you are like the business, the entrepreneurial skills, you can think about the future to bring with a solution for to solve one problem. And the healthcare sector in system, it's full of problem. You can find easily one problem and try to find a solution for that. And that solution not necessarily, as I mentioned, to create something from scratch. It's not need to be a product, maybe services. So you need to think about that. And one of those things, you need to know who you are, what is your skill set, and what you need to be on. Thank you for your time. I hope I stuck with the time. I am 6 minutes after from 30 minutes, and I hope I added value for you. And I will open the floor for Q&A if you have any things for me.
Thank you so much. That was a great talk. I love that you talked about the economics in the marketplace a bit more than we've heard so far. I think that, I think maybe this group is early adopters to this. I see that they could be seen as more in the moderate camp, but also I think generally this group is early adopters, I think, to the trends and being aware that, technology and IT is going to be a new profession that they can
So
pursue.
they have the high potential, that mean.
Absolutely.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I would say so. And then to hear, I think it was how it was 330 billion. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what the marketplace for 10 years from now for healthcare IT.
I don't know how to read this number.
Yeah, that's a big number. 3 trillion maybe. Yeah, it's just remarkable how large the market is going to be. And if you can gather the skills now to be a competitor in this marketplace and have jobs now, you will be part of this marketplace.
Yeah, that means
So-
it is a this addressable market. That means those company they have under their hand this market. That not necessarily they open vacancies for all those market, but this is a huge market. That's what
Mhm.
I try to give the insight for this area.
Yeah, that's the main takeaway is, we can't even really predict how large the technology demand is going to be in healthcare specifically because we don't know what new medical devices, AI, how that's going to play a role. Like it's really difficult to predict, but we can be confident that it's going to be very grand, right? Very grand. Um, Excellent. Okay, I think that there were a couple questions. Um, so you have a few thanks. Thank you for the presentation. Great visual aids. Here's a question for you. Nursing students are taught to the NCLEX. How can we mentor the new nurses or even instructors like deans to lean more to patient-centered care? And I think in that light, the technology that's going to influence patient-centered care. So how do we get nursing students, the tools to do this and mentor them
And this
towards.
is very good questions, and I will answer in two ways. First of all, that's what we're trying to do through Kiyan. So we try to meet with the leadership in the education system, try to let them to know what is the real market right now and what is the opportunity for the nurses, and try to make that change for their mindset and change in their curriculum. It's not easy, but we started to do that, and we hopefully we will make some progress. It's very hard, but I believe in some time we will do that. So meanwhile, if you see this is an opportunity, don't wait. Don't
Yeah.
wait from now. You can, since you are a student, you can think about how you can emphasize your knowledge in the nursing and how you think about your future. So what I want to advise for you, you need to go on the site. You need to have a little bit of experience. This depends on you. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It depends on you. And make sure you understand the healthcare system. Down the road, you will know where you want to go. But you are thinking about that while you are in the school. This is a bliss for me. I discovered this after 3 years of my experience, and then I did all those improvement. If you know that before you go for the market, you are amazing.
Mhm. I agree. Yeah, get in there. If you see a need, then try to set up a couple meetings with the deans and with, your teachers and bring this kind of stuff to the table and start a dialogue, right? Pick their brains. So, and then you'll
If
get
you
a
allow
sense.
me, I think one of the things I missed in my answer, this need also to speak up from the nurses,
Yeah.
because if the nurse they believe in that, they need to communicate this for their leadership, their management, and their professors, because if they hear from that student that they believe in this will help our mission. And I am not only in the market doing that. There's a lot of the entrepreneur as a solo entrepreneur. They trying to adapt and to target those nurses. I like nurses. I like the young people because they have the huge potential. But if the university or the school they are not hear from you, they will not make a change.
Yeah. And I think that it's hard when you're a student to feel comfortable speaking up. As the nature of being a student is to be there to learn. So to get the platform to feel like you can go in and ask questions and even suggest things and educate your teachers is a big dynamic shift, right? But but we need to embrace the different, the different viewpoints and the different places we're all coming from, right? We might be bringing new knowledge to the table, even as a student. So totally agree. We have a couple more questions. This is from Hadessa. I have been working remotely for several years now. I'm having a hard time finding remote work that will allow me to work from anywhere in the world. Do you have any suggestions for finding remote from anywhere in the world positions?
I feel you. I hear you. Yeah. However, it's the market's too big. It's very competitive. It's very competitive, and with the new AI era, that now there's I replace a lot of the roles because they started to automate it. But that should give you more optimistic to know what is the market need right now. So during my speak, I mentioned what you work right now doesn't necessarily will be required after 1 month. You need to be very adaptable. Working virtually, it is especially after the pandemic become very competitive for everyone. So you need to think how you can upgrade your skills, what new industry to target. If you work in one industry, think a different industry, how to get in there. So this is the solution, and maybe you can find more way of networking and communicating. So because there is 70% to 80% of the market, they are is or on the job vacancy, they are hidden opportunity. It's not announced, it's not advertised. So making a networking, connect with the community, this will help you.
Mhm. Excellent. All right, one more from Jason. How do we rewire the notion that technology is a threat to traditional nursing, but more of another tool in the nursing toolbox?
Personally, I don't see the AI will threat the nurse and take a place for nursing. This is my personal opinion as Anas. But I believe this is will limit your growth and your success in the future. So if you are not adapt with the technology, you will reach for some level where you are working with the hospital fully automated, but you are not adaptable. So you will still doing silly duties and you will not get within the career. But with the near future to longer future for me, I don't see the AI will replace the nurses, but the nurses who don't know how to work with the AI, they will be very limited.
Yeah, so maybe rewiring. I think you're spot on with education. Like I think, very much the healthcare, providers and system and nurses are just getting exposed to the education around technology and the idea that it's not a threat. And we have to acknowledge that it's very hard to walk onto a shift and then be told you have to learn some new technology when you already are drowning in in the work that you need to do that day. So there's an inherent pushback and friction
But
there.
one thing is here, just to give from
Mhm.
my story, okay? It's very
Yeah.
hard. It's very hard, but you have to do that.
Mhm.
When I did my shift, when I did my shift, in that time in 2010, I was with zero experience in the business, with no additional certificate. I was working 12 hour in the ICU,
Mhm.
and I went for health tech company where they working on a project and did a volunteer there for them 8 hour in daily basis. So I spent 3 months working 20 hour, 3 months, 20 hour, and that make the huge change on my career. If I didn't did that 3 months, I will stay forever as a nurse. That opened the opportunity for me after I exhausted 3 months. It
Yeah.
was very hard. But when I stopped, they realized my value. And in that time, they told me there is no vacancy. We don't have any opening. Sorry, Anas, we cannot work with you. So I told them I won't. But after 3 months, I stuck. Then they realized, no, Anas have a value. Let's find a role for Anas. They open a role for me and they put me. And that is
Mhm.
what 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our jobs are hard, but you do need to put forth that effort and then you'll stand out and learn. So thank you so much.
I've
I
got a
loved your
quick
talk.
add on to that, Anas. That is such an important point, and I'm ashamed to say I didn't even think about it, but I have very good examples of people in my life who I've known who have been in medicine and then basically volunteered at a company as like an intern, unpaid, and subsequently gotten really, really profound jobs within that company. One really classic example is when I was at Health Tap. Someone who became a really good friend of mine, a physician, a family physician, who started showing up every day at the office. And I'm like, what are you doing here, man? Like, I'm like, aren't you supposed to be in clinic? He's like, no, I worked out a fellowship with the company. I'm like, really? He did a 1 year fellowship, a private fellowship, basically invented it himself, in and I forget what it was, like health informatics or something like that. But he basically created his own opportunity by volunteering his time. And of course, the company was like, "Yeah, another doctor, like giving up like 1 day a week. Come on in. We'll take you. You know, just as you are. We're not going to say no." So the company got free labor for a year. Maybe it was only 6 months. But you could structure it however you wanted. You could go and say, "Hey, I want to do a 6 week fellowship with you. Can we draft something up?" And then you can put that on your resume. It doesn't need to be from an academic center. You can say like, "Hey, I studied for, I volunteered." They don't even necessarily need to know it's a volunteer spot, but maybe that even looks better.
It's
But I love that, and I now looking back, and I know people who've done that very successfully. So it's a great point.
it's pay off, and even if you don't put it in the real resume, and you have to put it, it will give you the confidence. Even if you don't work with them, it will give you the confidence you are market ready and you can make your move.
I love it. That's a hot tip, folks. Write that down.
Excellent. Okay, so